welcome to the Eyes Open Network. And here at the Eyes Open Network, one of the things we do like to do is ensure that we can get to the bottom of the story, try and get to as much truth as we possibly can, so that everybody, when they're reading the information that they have available to them, that they understand all the pieces of the puzzle. One of the things I like to cover and take care of are articles that seem to be going nowhere other than propaganda and leaving far too much to the imagination of the reader, which can sometimes be, often, crazy town. So when you read this article, if you were not careful while you're reading it, you could immediately think that the Russians were doing some pretty terrible things, when none of it is substantiated, none of it has been proven, none of it has actually happened. It's all speculation, hearsay, and unfortunately, it's not uncommon for this kind of story to be happening. Now, Russian ships near data cables are too close for U.S. comfort. It's not a terrible headline. Usually when these kinds of articles come out, they have some sort of attention-grabbing, fear-mongering type of headline. But, as we've said here at the Eyes Open Network numerous times, is that you should listen to everyone, believe no one, including myself. Don't just believe me. Go out and do your research and make your own opinion. We're a firm believer of that, but you have to go out and get informed. And one of the things that you need to get informed about is that there are plenty of articles out there that do this kind of thing. Like, let's review this article. Let's review the very first paragraph. Russian submarines and spy ships are aggressively operating near the vital undersea cables that carry almost all the global internet communications. All of the global internet communications. There's only one pipe that carries all the global internet communications. I don't buy that for a second. Why? Because there needs to be some sort of redundancy if it's that critical a cable, number one. Number two, they are aggressively operating. Well, what means they're aggressively operating? This entire article does not back up an aggressive operation. At one point, they even say that that there were at some point in the article, it says that they were slowly traveling down the coastline. That doesn't sound very aggressive to me. It's a very interesting article. They throw around phrases like Cold War, where the Russians would tap into cables, which by the way, the American CIA has mastered that decades ago. The alarm. Pardon me. One of the other things they love saying in this first paragraph is it's raising concerns American military and intelligence officers that Russians might be planning to attack the lines during times of tension or conflict. So they're planning on attacking it during time, but we've been told by the mainstream media, we got nothing to worry about, that there's no war, that nothing bad's going to happen, everything's okay, everybody should be fine. Don't prepare. But yet, why would they be worried and concerned? Yeah, the article gets into depth about how they're looking for the cables weaker, not weaker, but harder to reach areas, so that if they were able to cut the cables, that it would be harder to identify where the problem is, and getting it back up and running would be much more difficult. So there is that. They've used other phrases in this whole article, like secret cables that Russia is hunting. And it says right here, there is no evidence yet of any cable cutting. The concern is part of a growing weariness among senior American and allied military and intelligence officials, basically everybody, over the accelerated activity by Russian armed forces around the globe. Accelerated Russian armed forces. Accelerated activity. Are they not doing the job that the Americans were supposed to do in the first place over there in Syria? Yes, it's just such an amazing way to slant the information. That that this is like pending, that they're going to cut cables, that they're just waiting for the moment to strike. It's not. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I read the whole article. I read it a couple of times, trying to figure out how this. I mean, there's even an a published study, a reference to a published study called, that cables get cut all the time. Anchors being dragged, natural disaster, stuff like that. Most of the time they're cut close to shore, so they're easier to fix. So that's why the whole story slanted towards them trying to find places really, really deep. They use submarines and stuff to go and find really, really deep spots in these cables, so they make it harder for them to find the problems. It's just an amazing article that has such a slanted propaganda to Russia versus the U.S., which, there just needs to be less of that, I think. So anyway, this article, you can find it. Again, it was in the New York Times, so you can check it out and you can read it for yourself and make your own opinions. Pardon me, form your own opinions, as I said earlier. Listen to everyone. You're listening to me now. Listen to everyone. Believe nobody. Do your own research and form your own opinions. This has been another great video from your Eyes Open Network. If you like what you see and you want to hear about more information, potentially follow up for this story if something breaks from it, make sure that you subscribe so that you get the updates as soon as they happen. And share the video. Share the video, share the information. Let people form their own opinions. Take care. Have yourself a great day.